Every day, you face a great deal of uncertainty. But one thing remains the same. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Discover the American Southwest, where the landscape is painted by time itself. Towering crimson rock, breathtaking starlit skies. Arizona's blend of past and present invites you to rediscover what truly matters. Verizon knows there's no better way to stream your Disney favorites than on America's most reliable network. That's why we include Disney Plus with your unlimited plan. And plans start at just $35 per line. I really don't have a financial background, so buying my first home was overwhelming. This time around, I used Rocket Mortgage. Their learning center explained what I needed and what I was signing. Effortlessly combined demand insights, supply constraints, and machine learning to improve profitability while delivering unmatched customer service. Oracle leads in supply chain planning. Discover new flavors, explore new places, while sharing unique moments with those you love most. Enhance your experience wherever you are with San Pellegrino. Inhale its aroma. Taste its perfection. Hear its gentle crack. Awaken your senses with Lindt Excellence. Welcome to the Live Podcast, the place where brands transform, dreams become reality, and stories become legends. Get ready to elevate your media branding experience with your host, Anita Sonia, the founder of LivePodcast Media. Let's do this.
Hey everyone, it's Katie here from eCam, and we are so incredibly excited to be partnering with Anita Sonia on her 100 Days of Live Podcasting event. It's going to be absolutely incredible with some really amazing speakers and content. So if you are ready to learn as much as you can about live video and podcasting, this is the event for you. We'll see you there.
Welcome to the Live Podcast, the place where brands transform, dreams become reality, and stories become legends. Get ready to elevate your media branding experience with your host, Anita Sonia, the founder of LivePodcast Media. Let's do this.
Hi, it's Ann Carden here. I'm a top business growth strategist and the founder of the Expert in You programs and brand. And I'm so excited to be a proud sponsor of the 100 Days Live podcast with Anita Sonia. Anita is doing such great work out there, and I can't wait to be part of the 100 Days Live podcast. Anita aligns with what I do in my business to help my clients because I help them really build their influence and step up their game so that they can add that $1 million or even more with ultra high-end clients. I would love to invite you to check out one of my programs called $1 Million Accelerator. It's a mastermind and mentorship program that helps you add that $1 million or even beyond to your business, but do it with high caliber, $25,000 to $125,000 plus clients, months, or paydays. So check that out at annlcarden.com/mastermind. And if it looks like something that you would like to be part of, then you can apply there. Have an amazing day, and don't forget to be part of the 100 Days Live podcast with Anita Sonia.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Amazing people out there all over the world. Welcome to Live Podcast 100 Days. So today we are going to have our amazing guest speaker. She's an expert in creating high ticket clients for her potential clients, of course. She never mentioned 6 or 7 figures. This is what I love from her. But she has a very, very high performer client. So welcome, Ann Carden. Thank you so much for being here today. You look very beautiful as always. I love you. And then thank you so much also for your support as a sponsor on 100 Live Podcast, also on Live Podcast Insider. Even you become the how do you call it? The cover girl of Live Podcast Insider Volume 4. And you know what? We are going to share it for free today for everyone who registered to 100 Days Live Podcast. Does it sound good for us? So how have you been? Yay. I cannot hear you. You are muted. Mm, not yet, not yet. Can you hear me there? Let us see. This is what happened with live streaming, you know. So anything can happen, but then we do our best. So if you haven't known Ann Carden yet, she's the CEO of Expert in You. So she's the one who explore what you are expert in. Sometimes people have so many skills, so many expertise, but they cannot pick one to monetize it or to sell. I can say that it's okay to say that you need to sell. At the end, you need the money, right, for your income, to develop your brand, to market your brand, for many things.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's good. Thank you so much. Hello, hello.
Hello, I'm super sorry about that. Hang on one second. I was trying to use my AirPods and they, for whatever reason, are not wanting to connect. So give me 1 second.
Yes, ma'am. No problem. We are here for you.
Okay, I can hear you better now. Not such an echo. So, hello, yay.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Anita,
How
I
have
love
you
what you're
been?
doing. You're doing such great work. So excited.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I told you, sorry, I'm a bit slow after the accident, that I tried to recover, but you know me, I cannot be quiet every time I feel better, then I do something else, and then I got injured again. For 2 months. Oh my God, I couldn't be patient at that time. So, uh, how is the new magazine? Because I know that you are launching Expert in You magazine. Also, congratulations for that, another milestone.
Thank you. Yes, I'm so excited. We just launched the first issue, the summer issue, and it is really to profile and highlight some of my clients, first of all, to get them in the media, but also other people can be in there, and we highlight really people that are trailblazers doing big things in their industry, and they're leading the way and just shining a light on them. It's a way to shine a light on them. And of course, then I have advertisers, and super excited about this magazine. I wanted to build up the Expert in You brand and really build up the media side. And so this is another step in that journey. So thank you for bringing it up. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much. It's really, really, I love the performance of your magazine. It looks luxurious, glamorous, different with my magazine that tends to look nerd. You know what I mean? I try to be more feminine to look glamorous and luxurious on my magazine, but every time I edited, every time I decided, it looks the nerd still, too serious. I'm not that feminine like you. And I got your email.
Well, I don't do it myself. I have a great team, so yeah.
Yeah, you look amazing. But I love it that you love your cover on my magazine also, Live Podcast Insider. People love the cover also. So I think I do the good job, right?
It looks beautiful. Anytime you can look at yourself on a cover and say, wow, that really turned out nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So yeah, I got your email also to write the article on your magazine, but I haven't got the chance yet to write the article. Maybe later after this, when I started to adapt with live podcast for 100, because you see, like this morning, I woke up 3 a.m. and then go to the studio at 4 a.m. Then here I am for us, and we have the misunderstanding about the time zone. See. Usually I use the EST, Eastern New York time, so it will be easier with my time here. But then, lucky that you are ready. And then
I know, but I don't think you ever sleep. I mean, once in a while you say, oh, I think I'm going to go to sleep now. But then I'll see, then you're back in there a couple hours later chatting with me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a crazy person.
Yeah, no, you say that I'm crazy. Also, you are not the first one who said it. What I mean, like, yeah,
Except you're
I
talking
I,
to me,
I
right?
remember when you are like a mother, very disciplined, go to sleep like that after we chat about it. It was very
Sending
funny.
you sending you little sleep emojis. I know. Go to
Yeah.
sleep now. Go to sleep.
Then I say yes, ma'am. I cannot say anything else.
Oh, so
Okay, so today we are going to talk about podcast Goldmine. Oh my God, I thought that Goldmine is only under the rainbow, and then you say there is a Goldmine in the podcast, and people will come and create podcasts after this, or maybe even listen to podcasts to find the Goldmine in their industry, in their business, right? So it is not only
yeah.
on YouTube, even though now YouTube has the podcast also. So this is really interesting that we are going to talk about podcast Goldman turning
Yeah, but
attention,
Anita,
turning attention.
it doesn't have to just be a podcast. It can be the
Mm-mm,
same strategy as
mm-hmm,
as live streams or a live show.
mm.
So when I
Yay!
say podcasting, no, I look at both of those as being the
Mm-hmm,
same. To me, one you upload on a platform and the other you probably don't. But
mm-hmm.
podcasting and live streaming to me can be very much the same thing if you've got the right strategy behind them. And that's really when I say it's a gold mine, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, turning attention into rapid business growth. This is really
Mhm.
interesting. So, how can we start it? Now I'm very,
Yeah.
very interested in this, everything
Cool.
about money because I would like to be better. I would like to be like you also one day.
Yeah. So one of the things that I want to talk about first is beyond the downloads. So
Mm-mm,
many people start a live show or a podcast, and they're thinking about the downloads. It's like that is where they put their focus. How many downloads can I get? And so I want to expand that mindset because for 4 years now I've been doing my podcast, and only now am I even concerned about the downloads because it
wow.
is something I use to feed my business, high paying clients,
Mm-hmm,
partnerships, relationships. And
mm-hmm,
so I can dive into all the different ways you can use it, but you have to expand your mind around the sort of the traditional way of thinking about a podcast. So I want to talk about beyond the downloads. And I want to go into some strategies and ways that you can use your podcast beyond maybe the traditional ways that people think about using their podcast. And by the way, this can also be a live show. A
mm-hmm,
lot of my clients, Anita, when I get them out there building their influence, building their visibility, I will have them just start a live show because they may not be ready to do the whole podcast thing, but they can certainly use these strategies for a quick live show. And a live show is it can be you or it can be you interviewing.
mm-hmm. Like
Yeah,
me.
like you're doing, right? I do
Yeah.
that too. I do both in my podcast. I do solo and I also do interviews. And so
Yep.
I teach my clients how to get high paying clients with a live show or a
Mm-hmm,
podcast. And so we use it that way. So they actually target first of all, the way we set that show up and the name of the show is something that target audience would want to be on. So that's step number one. They have to set up the show more for who they want to attract than for the audience, if that makes sense.
mm-hmm,
So if you want to, for example, attract a high-level CEO, and that is your ideal client, you
mm-hmm.
want to set up that show so that high-level CEO is going to be very happy to say yes to you. Yeah, I would love to be on your show. I'd be honored to be on your show.
Yes.
But if it's a name of something that isn't going to be something they would be super proud of, or they feel like it's out of alignment with who they are, they're not going to be as inclined to say yes. So the very first thing is we have to set that show up for who the people that we want to get on the show. That's the most important thing. And then those clients, those people could be
ideal clients. So when you're trying to get to really high-end premium people that can pay you big fees, you've got to have different strategies. Traditional marketing strategies don't work. And so I like to call them high impact strategies, and a podcast is a gold mine. Like it's a gold mine for this.
Wow.
So,
So what is considered to be a high ticket clients?
mm,
How many $1,000 minimum that is considered for that? Talking
of-
about money, I love it.
yeah. Well, of course, this is going to vary depending on what you're selling and where you are. But my sort of pitch, if you will, is I help people get 40K to 150K plus clients, months and paydays. I say that too, but clients. So, so when I'm talking about high ticket, I'm talking about really premium, like 25K, 40K, maybe 25K is your lowest offer. $40,000. And so we're talking about US dollars here. You'll have to obviously convert. Now, depending on
Yes.
who your target is and where you are in the world, that's going to vary some. But I can typically help people 3 to 10 times what they're getting paid per client. So if that gives a better idea.
And thank you so much. You are very good at solo live streaming also, and you answer my questions how to perform better. To be, because I see many high ticket coaches and consultants also they do not perform well. Like using the cheap graphics, for example, or something like that, so that we don't feel that you are the right person to be my consultant or my coach because of your performance, something like that. And then they are just on pajama, in the kitchen or something like that. It doesn't show that you are the coach that I would like to work with. It is okay to be vulnerable to show our daily activities, but sometimes we really need someone who can beat us, to whip us, whip.
Yeah. Well,
Like what is it, Imagine Dragon song, right? Sometimes we really need someone to push us to the next level, you know what I mean, because we cannot see ourselves after we feel comfortable in our zone.
yeah. And I think too, when people are really trying to go to the next level and they know that they're maybe stuck to get there themselves, they are going to go out and look for the right person. And so if they don't ever really see that you're like, if you're not making enough offers, if you're not showing people enough what you do and what you're good at and what you're brilliant at, then number one, you're not going to come to their mind if they know someone that could use you or if they need you. And I think there is a balance to it, but I think for most people, they don't do enough of that. They're not doing enough putting themselves out there and educating their audience and sharing social proof. And they're not really using, like, for example, social media and all the things that they're doing, their podcasts, all that. They're really not using it to build their business the way they could.
And then
So,
what is the next step after the downloads?
yeah,
So what did you use the podcast before for 4 years? Because you didn't care about the downloads number to
yeah,
generate the clients.
it's how I get high paying clients.
Wow.
So I use it the same way for myself. So I'll talk about a few of these ways, but you want to have a really good strategy behind what you're doing. But I get high paying clients through my podcast. But I want to tell you, the first year I did it, I did not have this dialed in. I had to kind of learn this the hard way. And I got zero from my podcast, zero. It was just money going out and time going out. And I came to a place and I said, I'm either going to make this work for my business and grow my business, or I'm going to stop doing it for my business, because there's expense and time and energy that goes into podcasts. And even, any kind of all the work you've put into this 100 days. Oh my gosh, it's loads of work, right? And so
Yeah,
if it
that's
doesn't,
true.
yeah, so
But
if it
this is
doesn't
like a
come
kind of
back to you,
self-discipline for me, even though I try to be more flexible about the time. So when there is no guest speaker, I train myself for the solo live stream also, right? Then I try to be more flexible with my schedule, not always at 5 a.m. in the morning like this. So,
Right, right.
and
So,
then,
so that's the way I use it, is to get high paying
mm-mm.
clients. But the other ways that I use it is I fill my virtual workshops from my podcast.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
I fill workshops. The other way I use it is I get strategic partnerships. So
Mm-mm.
nothing, you know, Anita, nothing builds a relationship faster than something like this, where you
Mm-hmm.
can sit down and have a really great conversation with the person that you're interviewing,
Mm-hmm.
and you can build that fast relationship. And so again, if there's a good strategy behind your podcast, when you bring people onto your show, I always say there's three things you're looking for. Number one, what is the strategy behind bringing them on? Why would you want to bring them on? And it goes beyond, they can just be great value for my audience, because everyone probably will be good value for your audience. So, okay, so do they have a really huge following? That would be one thing to look at. Could they be a potential client? That's
Mm-hmm.
another thing to look at. Could they be a great partner for me? So do they have my audience,
Mm-hmm.
where we could, but they don't do what I do, where we could partner and we could, JV partner or be affiliate partners. So,
Mm-hmm.
or can they open a bigger door, or can they open a door for a bigger opportunity? So those are the four things that we really look at,
Mm-hmm.
when we bring people onto our show. And so those are the things that I teach my clients. And when you do that, your podcast is a gold mine. Your live
Mm-hmm.
streams are a gold mine, because you're literally setting up your business for that success. Um, when I talk about other bigger opportunities, also talking about getting speaking engagements, um, getting people asking you to be in their media. I was also, it was such a great honor to be on your magazine, but I was also, someone reached out to me a few months ago and said, I would love to
Mm-hmm.
put you on the cover of my magazine. And
Mm-hmm.
it was somebody I really had kind of just met, but when he saw what I was doing and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
he said, I would love to feature you on the cover of my magazine. So those opportunities come to you when you're doing bigger things and you're building influence in the market. And no, I mean, a podcast is just a great way to do that.
And then did you get the same chance at that time as a flight attendant or something like that before?
Did I what?
Did you get the same chance before when you were still the flight attendant or something like that? Because
No,
so this is different field. So
no.
this is really surprising. Also, your story is really remarkable on our live podcast insider. So how did you change your field that way? Because you were very
Mhm.
experienced in another field, but then you turn yourself into a businesswoman.
Yes. Well, I did worked with a lot of mentors. I invested a
Mm-hmm.
lot back into myself to learn, especially in this virtual world, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole different thing. And so it took time. And the thing is, things are always changing. So I'm consistently refining and making my process better, and helping my clients, they're getting faster and faster and faster results because
Mm-hmm.
I keep refining my process. So, the main thing is, though, you can take the slow path trying to figure it all out, or if somebody's already got it figured out, just make the investment. Just make the investment and work with them.
And then you work also with Mark Mauhine, right? From the Coaching Jungle. I love him about his
Mark, yes.
program and how he generate the clients from his Facebook group. Not
Mhm.
everyone can do it. There are many groups who are there are with thousands of members, but being a cricket, I cannot take care of my Facebook group either. So, but he is great. So, how do you work with him?
Yes.
He,
So, yeah, with Mark, we did kind of a JV partnership,
Mhm.
and I helped Mark with some things in his business. And then
Mhm.
um, he wanted to promote me as with that. And so we did a JV partnership, working together. And, here's the thing that it's important for people to hear this. There's enough business to go around. There's more than enough people. And I think a lot of times people are afraid to collaborate because they say, oh, they do the same thing or they do something similar. We're all so different, unique. We all have, unique ways that we do things. So even though Mark helps coaches, he doesn't help coaches the way I help coaches. And so, yeah, so he works a lot with more startup kind of coaches. I don't, those are not the people that I typically work with. And so we don't really have the same ideas around, the way we're building our business and things like that. Mark kind of learned the whole build a Facebook group and then monetize the Facebook group. I don't teach that strategy. I know that strategy. I did that strategy actually before COVID. And it is one strategy, but what I found is that really, really high-end premium buyers are not hanging out in Facebook groups. They don't have time. They don't have time to do that. And so it's a more difficult strategy. So some of it comes down to who you're targeting and just really understanding what's going to be the right path. But the thing is, Anita, there's a gold mine online. There just really is. I mean, when I came online and learned how to virtually market and sell, it blew my mind how different my business was. Because before that, I was working locally in my market. I was running around networking and I was speaking on stages and I was asking for referrals, and that was all fine, but it was a very slow growth. That only got me so far. Yeah.
And then how long does it take for someone to join your program until they get the outcomes that they dream of?
It really depends. I've had people in 3 days triple the money they paid me. I've helped people get $50,000 clients in a week. I've helped people have $30,000 months in 30 days. $45,000 months in 30 days, cash months. So but then I have other clients. Some of it's dependent on them. How fast do they go? I can go as fast as they want to go. So if they get on it and they get things implemented and they do the things, a lot of times things can happen fairly fast, usually within 30 to 60 days. But sometimes they drag their feet and it takes them a while to kind of get out the gate. And so it will take them a little bit longer, but that's really dependent on them, because I have the strategies and I have the skill set to help them do whatever they want to do. So yeah, and the guidance and support. So it's really dependent on them.
Do they have to, to be ready, or they have the certain program or products already when they join you, or do they be able to create the programs that should be done? Sometimes one program cannot reach the high ticket clients, and then you have to evaluate it to change it totally when they work with you. What are your challenges when they come to you?
Yeah. So most of the people that do come to me have things, they have some things going. Those are the people that can typically get very, very fast results. A lot of times they've been in their business for a few years, but it isn't going where they want it to go and they can't figure out why. And so I'm able to just really look at their business and say, this is what you're missing. This is what we need to do. This is the new strategy. But not necessarily do they have to have everything in place. I mean, I've taken people from literally, I had a client, okay, I'm not making any revenue or income claims, but I had a client, we took him from 0 to 7 figures to $1 million, right at $1 million in a year. But he had some past business experience. He wasn't afraid to get out there. He wasn't afraid to sell. He just didn't have the right offer. What he was selling, it wasn't packaged right. It wasn't priced right. His marketing was off. His sales process was off. And so we fixed those foundational pieces. And he had been trying for 6 months to launch this business. Nothing. He had zero, no interest. When we fixed it, he went to a local trade show and he closed $80,000 in cash in new business over the weekend. And then he was able to go, he made even more money like within the week after, because we obviously did some follow-up and some cleanup. And then he was able to go out and take that same process that we created, that we now knew worked, and rinse and repeat. And he went to almost $1 million in a year. But that's not typical. And part of the reason why we were able to do that is he just didn't have things set up right, but he wasn't afraid to make the changes and get out there and promote it and do things the way I was showing him to do things. So it really, some of that depends on the person. I tell you really what I look for is, do they have the right mindset? Are they hungry for their success? Are they really willing to do what they need to do?
Open to changes also.
Yes.
As you mentioned.
Yes. Or even if they don't have things going yet, even I've taken people that just want to start a business, but they've got expertise and knowledge and skills, and they're not afraid to get out there. It's like, and just show me how, show me what to do. Those are my people too, because they're in the right mindset. Of course, they have to have the financial resources, right? To, to work with me. But if they're hungry for it, I mean, I can help anyone make money if they want to make money. Are they willing to do the work? Because the effort that they put behind it will definitely make a difference in their results. So.
Yes, and then talking about the right offer, how do you propose the right offer on your live podcast, for example, or on your podcast or live streaming? Because I'm happy that you mentioned that the strategy can be applied on live streaming also. I'm not confident on podcast yet because of my voice, but also because I'm not good at editing. So how do we create the right offer for our podcast so the people will not think we are too salesly? And
so you have to have an irresistible offer, something that's going to make somebody say, oh my gosh, I'm interested. And I always say, so there's really two things I drive. Now I have my magazine, and so now I've been promoting that, but there are two things I drive people to in my business. One is a workshop that I'm typically running. And the other thing that I really drive them to is a call with me. That's it. Those are the two main things. Now, once in a while, I might do something else where I'm driving them to listen to my podcast if it's an episode that I think is going to build the know, like, and trust. So I'm very strategic in what I drive people to, but people have to know, like, and trust you, right, before they're going to buy. So what does that look like for you? And the answer is, Anita, there's not one particular way to make an offer. It has to be, what is it you want to sell? What are you selling? And then make sure that's packaged and priced in a way that people say, I'd be crazy to not want to do this, right? And then build that know, like, and trust with them, or get their interest. And that comes from educating them. For example, I help people really rapidly grow their revenue through VIP virtual workshops, because I use that in my business. It's another one of my strategies. And so if they're interested in growing their business through VIP virtual workshops, and I talk about what that looks like and what that is, and they're interested, they can attend my workshop, or they can book a call with me if they don't want to attend the workshop. And so I will pull things out of what I actually do with my clients, and I'll talk about those things. And so you can get interest a lot of different ways. But if you don't have a compelling offer, whatever you're doing, and you don't educate people on what that offer is all about, you're not going to get people wanting to come to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a lot. And then about the workshop, you seem that you always choose the best place for your workshop, the offline workshop. I mean, not the virtual one. So how do you manage it, your energy, and then how do you plan it?
Yes. So I do all my workshops virtually. how do I manage it? Well, I have an assistant that runs the Zoom for me. She runs the Zoom room, but I have strategies on how to fill them and get people in there. But I get the right people into the room, and that's the important piece with what I teach. So the workshops that I do, we can put 20, 15 to 20 people in the room and have a $100,000 workshop or $150,000 workshop where those are the results out of it. So those are the strategies I teach my clients too. But it's, when you're doing it and it's consistently feeding your business, you find the time to do it just like you're doing. But I don't do a lot of the work. I have VAs that do a lot of the outreach and things like that for me. But then I'll promote it everywhere, right? I'll promote it.
It's nice to see you live streaming every day to give the tips for the business woman, the businessman also out there. Sometimes, yeah, we know that we need to do something, but we don't know how to apply it, right? So how do you plan your content also for that? How do you prepare your content for live streaming every day? It is really amazing to see that tips and tricks in business, how to build your business, how to get the trust from your clients, how to put yourself out there as the professional, something like that.
Wow, I'm really shocked that you think I live stream every day. I do not. In fact, I haven't live streamed for about 3 weeks.
Maybe because of my time zone also. That I always, when I wake up, and it's there, then I just put love, even though I play the replay later, you know me.
That's so funny. So here's the thing. So here's the thing. I do a lot of recording, and then I can run those as live streams. So with some of the online platforms, you can record and then you can actually run it as a live stream.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's live. And the reason for that is it gets more reach when it's live, but it's not live. It's actually recorded. But the platform is showing it, and they're not saying, they're saying Ann is on here live. People really, they do not know the difference. Sometimes I am on there live. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes it's a recording. So with the technology that we have today, but the other thing we do is we really do repurpose a lot of my content. So a lot of my YouTube videos that I create, we'll cut those up, and then we might run, we'll put those out every day. So every day I have content going out. I'm not doing all of it. I have a VA that's putting it out there for me. But, I'm building, you have to keep building that foundation of influence. That's how you really get bigger opportunities coming to you. That's how I had somebody today reached out to me and she said, I knew I had to have you on my podcast because I saw your LinkedIn profile and all of your expertise and blah, blah, blah. And I knew I had to have you on there. That's when you know what you're doing is working, right? The content that you're putting out there is working.
I agree. And then after the downloads and then virtual workshop and then the strategic partnership, would you like to explain more about strategic partnership? Do your partner pay you and you pay your partner, or this is like the mutual connection, like that, how we can establish our strategic partnership with someone? For example, like Mark, I know that Mark is a high ticket coach and consultant also for coaches, especially for coaches, right?
Yeah, so it really depends. It depends on how you want to do it and how you want to set it up. So I have built partnerships with people where I now am an affiliate. So maybe they sell a system, and now I can offer my clients a system. And it's a system I use, and it's a system I believe in. And so why would I not want to be an affiliate for that system and make money if my clients decide to use that system? And so I do strategic partnerships like that where they're affiliates. But I have also built JV partnerships with people that do. So we offer, and I don't even know if you know this, Anita, because I don't promote it a lot, but on the expert in you side, we offer we will write somebody's book for them, their expert book. We'll get
Yes.
their book written. We will cut up, we'll do, like 100 videos for them. We'll write blogs for them. We'll do content creation. We'll get them featured on the cover of a magazine. We'll get them featured in an article. We'll do a press release. So we have this whole, I call it the expert and influence builder system. We have this whole package. I don't do any of those things. My team does, my partners that I am, that I work with, that I trust, they do all the heavy lifting. They do all the work. I am the go-between.
Of course, you are the CEO, you are the brain, you are the idea, you are the motivator, ma'am. So
They basically are white labeled for me. So if you don't know what white label means, it means they are sort of working under my umbrella, but I'm paying them, we work out how much they want to be paid. And then I add whatever I'm going to add to that. And so they're actually a partnership, but they're white label partners. So they look like they're part of my team, but they're running their own businesses too. They're not just for me. So that's another way. All of these, there's no right or wrong. It's whatever you want to do. I had somebody reach out to me today. He emailed me and said, Ann, I love being on your podcast, a year and a half ago or whatever. Would you like to promote to my email list and I'll promote to yours? And so we're going to do a collaboration call as to what that looks like, to see if that makes sense. So that's another way to partner. So there's so many different ways. It's endless. It's just endless.
And then what do you suggest the influencers to perform on their podcast if they would like to have the potential clients?
Repeat that again. I'm sorry.
For example, there are influencers, right? And they do not know what to deliver on their podcast to get the right clients. What kind of contents they should deliver? Because sometimes in podcasts, it's people talk about something that doesn't relate with their brands. You know what I mean? Like, of course, they share their values and everything, but at the end, they don't monetize it. They depend on the advertisers and then also sponsors, but they don't get the clients from their podcasts or live streaming.
You need a good strategy. You need a strategist to sit down and really figure out, well, how do you want to use your podcast? I always say, and this is for anything, this is whether you're running a virtual workshop, whether you're doing a podcast, you're doing a live stream, what is the end result you are trying to accomplish with that? So even before I do a live stream, if I do 4 or 5 days of a live stream, what is the end result I am trying to accomplish with that live stream? So if it's to fill a workshop, then I'm going to be sharing things that are going to be pulling the right people into my workshop. So I'm going to be talking about strategies and things that I'm going to be covering in my workshop. I'm going to be changing, shifting their mindset around how they're doing things, so they might want to come to my workshop. So your content should feed the end result you are trying to accomplish. And that should be with anything you do, anything. So your content can change depending on what you have going on right now. So what are you trying to do right now in your business? And then how are you going to be marketing to let people know that's what you're trying to do right now in your business? So your content needs to feed that.
And then you are inducted into WOOS and WOOS in America Entrepreneurship, right? Is that the business community or something like that? And thank you that you will be also one of the judges in LivePodcast Awards. And I hope that all of the entrepreneurs, your clients, your community will register to our LivePodcast Awards, because this is our first time in October, right?
Such a great thing. Thank you about the Who's Who. They contacted me. So if you're not familiar with Who's Who in America, it's kind of a big deal. You have to get invited to be in Who's Who. And it's not a community. You actually get put in this book that's like this thick, and they go into like all the libraries and they do a whole I don't have it in front of me, or
Wow.
I could show you, but they do a whole
Mm-hmm.
feature on you. But they interview you. They have to feel like you're that you're worthy of being in Who's Who. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be recommended, and they set up this long interview. I think it was an hour and a half, 2 hour interview to find out everything
Mm-hmm.
about me, to see if it would made sense to put me in Who's Who. And
Mm-hmm.
then they do a whole press release on you. I got this beautiful plaque. I got two of these big books that my kids will be able to pass those down. It's part of kind of a legacy. But
Yes, of course.
it's a big deal. It's been around for, I don't know, 100 years. Who's Who in America. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Is it only for American or also the business and the top influencers out there outside America? I mean.
yeah, I think probably there are other things that are similar. I think I want to say the United Kingdom has some
Mm-hmm.
sort of same kind of thing. It's kind of like a Who's Who, where it really does. It's going to be around for years and years and years to come. Like it's a legacy, like a book,
Mm-hmm.
where people will be able to see that in Who's Who.
More than encyclopedia.
My grandkids will be able to see that when I'm long gone, right? So
Wow.
yeah, so it's really a cool thing, but it's really an
Mm-hmm.
honor to
Mm-hmm.
be asked to be in Who's Who and be selected. Yeah.
I agree because even though I wasn't active anymore on the national book, book industry, I was happy already when our anthology book was on the National Library. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I
Mhm.
have no children, but then
Mhm.
maybe one day someone will see it there, something
That's
like that.
right.
I think
That's
the same,
right.
yeah, living legacy is really, really nice to show our story. And then how do you perform yourself to be different among the other high ticket clients coach because
Mhm.
you are the top performer here in your industry, and I didn't know that you do it differently from the other coaches, right, or the other consultants. I know that you never mentioned 7 6 7 figures or boss babe or something like that, and I that's what I love from you,
Well, I actually
work
kind of,
it
I
looks like
know you think
working
that,
in
but I do.
silence. Working
I
in silence, but boom, you get the result, something like that.
No, I do. Sometimes I change up my language a little bit. I talk about $1 million a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I will talk about, 6 and 7 figures. Right now, I think if you go look at my LinkedIn, I just changed it and that's on there. But I think I put in there that I help them do it with virtual high paying clients, like with high paying clients virtually or something like that. But what you will see, even if I am talking about money, because I'm a business coach, what you will see is that I always, always add in the piece high end clients, high caliber clients, premium clients, ultra high ticket clients. Like there's always that, because that is really a differentiator for me. It sets me apart in the industry. Most people are not out there helping coaches, consultants, professional entrepreneurs get really premium clients. They're teaching them how to get clients for a few $1,000s or 5,000, maybe 10,000 is the biggest offer. 25,000 a lot of times is the small offer that my clients are asking, and then they go up from there. So it's just a whole different. It's a different level that I work with my clients on. And it doesn't mean they can't sell those lower end offers that everybody calls high ticket, but that's their low thing. That's like their low cash thing. So it just comes down to who they're targeting. But you'll always see that in my marketing. Always, always, always. You'll always know that I'm doing it with high paying clients.
Mm-hmm. And then if I may ask about the number, how much should we provide to work with you in the
I have,
beginning?
yeah, that's a great question. It
Thank you.
really depends on what program you choose. I do everything from VIP days to half VIP days,
Mhm.
an hour, 6 months, a year. What
One
I
hour for consultancy. Wow.
What, 1 hour?
1 hour for consultancy. You provide
Yes,
that also. Oh, I
I
didn't know that.
will, but I never promote that. But if I had somebody
Mm,
ask, but here's the thing, if I always sell in integrity. So
mm,
if somebody comes to me and they say, Ann, I want an hour, what would you want to accomplish in that hour? And if
mm,
they have like this idea that I'm like, and I'm like, there's no way that's going to happen in an hour. I'm not going to
mm,
sell them that. That doesn't make sense. I'm not just going to take their money, and because I can't give them that in an hour. Same thing if somebody comes to me and they say, I want to work with you in a VIP day. Great. That's great. What would you like to accomplish in that VIP day? And if their
mm,
idea, like if what they want is we can't do it in a day, then I have to be really honest and open and upfront with that.
mm,
Here's what we can do in a day, but it's just going to be the beginning. Here's the other things you need. So I
mm.
would say sell in integrity. And I will turn away a client before I will take their money and know that what they're buying isn't going to help them. I'm not going to do that. But
Wow.
but
And
I
then,
customize packages for people.
yeah, being flexible is good for our offer also. And then how long does it take if we do the right thing with our podcast to attract our potential clients? Because maybe it takes time also to reach the people out there, right? With the downloads and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. If you wanted to attract high-end clients with your podcast, Anita, I would say, okay,
Mm-hmm.
Anita, what do you want to sell them? What's the thing you're trying to sell? And so you would tell me that, okay, who are the people you are trying to reach to sell that to?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where we would start. So we would find out what's the end goal, what's the end
Mm-hmm.
result, and then we reverse engineer, and then we set up the strategy for that. Okay, these are the people you need to be asking to be on your show. Then you need to know how to turn that into a conversation to sell them if that's going to be the right fit. And so all of that, there's a lot of steps to that, and a lot of moving parts. But that could be lead generation for somebody if they're doing it the right way.
Wow, this is
So I
really
hope it comes
interesting.
out.
Yeah, great discussion. This is me. I'm always curious about the next one. I know that time run very fast, but okay, because you are always mention something that I'm curious about to explore more. And then now you talk about reverse engineer strategy, right? And then most people always use the moving forward strategy, not the reverse engineer strategy. So how do you do that? I mean, would you like to explain more about it? Reverse engineer strategy. This is interesting, really.
Yeah, I mean, reverse
From
engineers.
the outcomes, and then until how to start. So the opposite, not to start, and then how to get the outcomes. Really interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people pick the way they're going to market. So they'll
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, I'm going to do a podcast
Mm-hmm.
and I want to get downloads and I think I want to get sponsors. And so that's sort of their thinking, or they think I just want to put it out there. So a lot of people will pick the sort of the medium they want to use, but they
Mm-hmm.
don't have a real strong strategy. And it's why they end up just kind of, again, burning up time and energy and money. The faster path, though, is to figure out the end result that you're trying to accomplish and then reverse engineer, set up the steps, and get into the details. Here's what I need
Mm-hmm.
to do to make this work. And you stick with it. And then if it doesn't work, you keep working it or you get help to make it work. So
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
And then, does it mean that we don't need to be everywhere on every platform or social
No,
media? So we need to focus what we are good into, or we are good at, right? For
mhm,
example, if you are good at in LinkedIn and then your clients are there, then you have to be there only, not on Facebook or Instagram, because yeah, it
right.
can be very, very overwhelming. I know
Yes,
time runs very fast. But
it
one more
sure did.
question. One more question, please.
Yes.
And then for the clients, how long does it take? Because you mentioned, see, always there is something like because you mentioned like, okay, if it doesn't work, you need to ask someone for help to fix it or change it, and then how long does it take until you need to evaluate it? Then because you have
Mhm,
the gut feeling right now, oh, it
mhm,
doesn't work, but you believe that it works, but it takes time, but that is not
mhm.
an effective strategy. So how long we need to evaluate our podcast, our content,
Mm.
and our strategy itself to reach the client?
Yeah, I know
Sorry.
somebody somebody said everything takes 90 days. And
90
I
days.
don't know who said that, but I would say you have to give something a hard try for 90 days. If
Mm,
after 90 days and you've done a lot of work and you've really worked it, and you're not
mm,
seeing any kind of results, you've probably got a breakdown somewhere. You've got some gaps that have to be
mhm,
closed. Um, and so I wouldn't go longer than that. But if you just try something one time and it doesn't work, that's not enough. That you can't you can't make a determination. A lot of people throw it out and say, "Well, that didn't work." I had somebody I was talking one day about, the VIP virtual workshops, and she said,
mhm,
"Yeah, I tried workshops, and I tried online events, and they were too hard to fill, and they just didn't work, and I didn't get the response." And so when I started asking her about it, come to find out, she had done one and she had got a $30,000 client. And I said,
wow.
you don't think that it was worth getting a $30,000 client? So
Mhm,
sometimes people don't really look at things the way they need to look at them. It's like most people would be thrilled to bring in a $30,000 client with a workshop. And then you take some of that money and then you get some people to help you fill the next one. That's,
mhm,
so there's ways to do things, but um, yeah, if you're working it hard for 60 or 90 days and you're not seeing any results, you need to reassess. Don't throw it out, but just reassess. And that might be the time you think, okay, I
mhm,
need to get some help. I'm always investing in mentors. It's part of my business. It's part of, everything that I do. I'm always looking for the next person that knows more than me. So um, I want to learn from them. And that's how I keep growing. That's how I keep staying above and cutting edge in my industry. I never
mhm.
rest on, okay, here's where I am and I don't have to do anything else. It's all great.
It's amazing always to have the golden nuggets from you. Then I know that time has come to end. I know that you have to do other activities also, and I would like to thank you so much again for always supporting me and Live Podcast Media in everything I do in my progress, my event. I feel warm that I told you that I don't feel alone anymore to work on this. You know what I mean? Sometimes it feels like, oh, I'm alone, nobody supports me or something like that. Not as, I don't know. I love all of the judges. I love
Mhm.
all of my sponsors, and you are a very genuine person also to support me. I thank you for that. And
You're
yes,
welcome.
we can start to spread the magazine. I will share you the link
Thank you.
here. And
Yeah.
then if please ask them to sign up on livepodcastmedia.com/event to get your magazine on Live Podcast Insider for free. Because if they go to Live Podcast Insider, they have to pay $10 for that. 9.99. It's $10,
Hmm.
right? So this is because of you also sponsor Live Podcast Insider before, so I can provide this for free for everyone today. And then also for the next 100 days only for your cover, not for the other cover yet.
Awesome.
Thank
Well,
you
thank
so much.
you. Yes, we
So
need to get it out there for everyone. Yes.
yes, because I want them to read about your story, really, really amazing story that we can learn. Thank you so much, Anne, for today, for
Thank
everything that you have
you.
been done for live podcast media also. And I hope that you keep supporting us here.
I love everything you're doing. And like I said, what you do
Thank you
really
so much.
aligns with
Thank
what
you
I
so
do. So
much.
I am super happy to support you. God bless you.
God bless you too, and I love you. And I'll see you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you. So
Hey, do you live stream? Let me put you on a tool that's like having 6 people on your stream team. Ecamm Live. It's your assistant. You can set up your stream and schedule it in advance. It's your producer. You can go live and easily switch scenes. It's your videographer and sound mixer. You can record your high quality video and isolated audio tracks. It's your colorist. You can tweak the picture settings and even add LUTs. If you have all of your slides and your graphics prepared in advance, you don't even need an editor. Ecamm Live is your entire stream team all in one. Let's go.
Every day, you face a great deal of uncertainty. But one thing remains the same. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Discover the American Southwest, where the landscape is painted by time itself. Towering crimson rock, breathtaking starlit skies. Arizona's blend of past and present invites you to rediscover what truly matters. Verizon knows there's no better way to stream your Disney favorites than on America's most reliable network. That's why we include Disney Plus with your unlimited plan. And plans start at just $35 per line. I really don't have a financial background, so buying my first home was overwhelming. This time around, I used Rocket Mortgage. Their learning center explained what I needed and what I was signing. Effortlessly combined demand insights, supply constraints, and machine learning to improve profitability while delivering unmatched customer service. Oracle leads in supply chain planning. Discover new flavors, explore new places, while sharing unique moments with those you love most. Enhance your experience wherever you are with San Pellegrino. Inhale its aroma. Taste its perfection. Hear its gentle crack. Awaken your senses with Lindt Excellence.